and happy Friday. My name is Steffi and welcome to My Day with a Ghost. This is a series on my channel that combines two of my favorite things, food and all things spooky, like a mukbang podcast. So take a seat, grab a snack, and follow me into the world of the supernatural. So today is Friday the 13th. I decided to kind of not do anything ghostly, nothing paranormal, but just to kind of go over the history of Friday the 13th, where it comes from, a lot of superstitions, good luck, bad luck, things like that. But before we get started, let's talk about what I'm eating today. So today I have Paina Cafe. They are not necessarily local, but like small business, I guess. They have location in Hawaii, and then they actually just opened up their second location here in Las Vegas. So I got mochi donuts, I got mango, taro, and strawberry. Then I got their Ahi Katsu, which is deep fried panko crusted ahi marinated in sweet shoyu ginger marinade, topped with kale sauce and green onions, served with a side of potato salad and mixed pickled veggies. And I also got 4-ounce ahi poke. They gave me options if I wanted to do shoyu, spicy tuna, or Hawaiian style, and I got spicy tuna. So, and to drink, I have a hibiscus LaCroix, and I'm putting it in my San Antonio mug. Let's start with some food. I'm so hungry. Let's do some potato salad. That's really good. There's like noodles in it. I'm gonna eat. I'm assuming this is radish. I have no idea. Really good though. And then I have pickled cucumber. Oh, I like that a lot. And then some pickled onion. Okay, I'm gonna eat this with a fork. I just fell in love. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Wow. Wow. And then I'm honestly just gonna I don't have a knife. Can I just whoa. Dude, it's so soft. Oh my goodness. That's so good. Okay, I'm gonna taste test the donuts. So let's start with mango. Whoa. So I've never had a mochi donut. They've been real popular lately. It's like they made them, and then like they just popped up everywhere. All like every like local place is making them now. That's so good. It's kind of mango-y. It mostly just tastes sweet. If that makes sense. Let me try this one. It's so purple on the inside. I don't know, I'm not really tasting too much of a difference. Let me see. Yeah, I'm mostly just tasting sweet. Like, the flavor isn't like super like punch you in the mouth flavor, if that makes sense. It tastes really good. And the texture is like really nice and like almost gummy, but like not in a bad way. Like it's very bouncy. But it's not like distinctly, like if you blindfolded me, I would not be able to tell you which flavor is which. But it tastes good. Okay, let's get started. So before I start on the history, I just want to give a little fun fact. Actually, 2 fun facts. Any month that starts in a Sunday will have a Friday the 13th. And up until the late 1800s, no one cared about Friday the 13th. It wasn't anything that people felt any type of way about. Okay, so the history can be broken up into 4 different sections. Christianity, Norse Mythology, the 13 Club, and global superstitions. So let's start with Christianity. So some say that the unluckiness of Friday and the unluckiness of 13 come from the Bible. For example, Judas, what did he do? The apostle. He betrayed Jesus. And he was the 13th guest at the Last Supper. Other biblical events that supposedly happened on a Friday include the Great Flood from the Noah story, the confusion of languages at the Tower of Babel. Is that how you say it? Tower of Babel. The day Eve tempted Adam with the apple. And Good Friday, the day that Jesus was crucified. The next section being Norse mythology. It has a lot, so I'm gonna be reading a lot. So this story has about 3 to 4 characters. The goddess Frigg, Hur, the blind son of Odin and Frigg, Balder, another son of Odin and Frigg, and Loki. Okay, so the goddess Frigg, Balder's mother, made everything in existence swear never to harm Balder, except for mistletoe, which she found was too important to ask. And in some stories, it states that she felt that mistletoe was too young to make such an oath. This led the gods to amuse themselves by trying any weapon on Balder and seeing that no harm could be done. So then Loki, the mischief maker himself, upon finding Balder's one and only weakness, decides to make an arrow out of mistletoe. So now we have a little bit of backstory. The unlucky nature of the number 13 originated with a Norse myth of 12 gods having a dinner party in Valhalla. Loki showed up uninvited, making himself the 13th guest. He then arranged for Hur to shoot Balder with the mistletoe arrow that he made. And this major event is what led to the number 13 being unlucky in Norse mythology. Frigg, a triskaidekaphobia, an actual psychological condition marked by a disabling fear of Friday the 13th. Some people who have this disorder are even too afraid to say the words Friday the 13th. The name of the phobia derives from Frigg, the Norse goddess whom Friday is named after, and triskaidekaphobia, which is Greek for the fear of 13. Now I'm going to take another bite here. I accidentally took too big of a bite. That is so good. Take a smaller bite of the katsu. So I also got their chicken katsu, which tasted good. But I felt like their breading could have used some salt. It tasted good. It could have been better, you know? Okay, so the 13 Club. So credit for popularizing Friday the 13th actually goes to Captain William Fowler, He was a noted soldier who rubbed elbows with former presidents and other high-profile people in the late 1800s. So earlier I mentioned that it wasn't a thing until the late 1800s. Well, here you go. It's his fault. Fowler noticed that the number 13 was woven throughout his life. He went to public school number 13 in New York, and he fought in 13 Civil War battles. So he decided to combat the popularized superstition against the number 13. Fowler started a society called the 13 Club. They held their first meeting on September 13th of 1881. Guests walked under crossed ladders to a 13-seated table that contained spilled salt. The group would have a 13-course dinner on the 13th day of the month in room 13 of the Knickerbocker Cottage, which was a popular watering hole Fowler owned from 1863 to 1883. So now we talk about global superstition. So Friday the 13th is a very Western American thing. So other parts of the world also have unlucky numbers, unlucky days, but they're just not Friday the 13th. In Spanish-speaking countries, instead of Friday the 13th, it's Tuesday the 13th. And Tuesday the 13th occurs any month that begins in a Thursday. So in Greece, the day Tuesday is considered bad luck, but especially the 13th. Tuesday is considered dominated by the influence of Ares, the god of war. Also, the fall of Constantinople. Thank you. The fall of Constantinople to the Fourth Crusade occurred on Tuesday, April 13th, 1204. And the fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans happened on Tuesday, May 29th of 1453. These are events that strengthen the superstition of the day Tuesday. So in addition, the Greek name of the day is Treaty, meaning the third day of the week, adding weight to the superstition because bad luck comes in threes, right? You always hear famous deaths that always happen in threes, 333. It's always like when it comes to like demons, 3 is the right, like 666, half of that is 333, witching hours 3:33 in the morning, the Trinity, right? When you're scratched by a demon, it's always at a claw mark of 3 in mock of the Trinity, so 3 is just like a bad, unlucky, it's a part of the number 13, just a no-go. In Italy, Friday the 17th is bad luck instead of Friday the 13th. So the origin of this actually goes back to the way that the number 17 is written in Roman numerals. By shuffling the digits, one can easily get the word Vixi, Vixi, meaning I have lived, implying death in the present and an omen of bad luck. In fact, in Italy, the number 13 is actually quite lucky. However, due to Americanization, it's slowly starting to make people feel like, in Italy, it makes people feel like the number 13 is not lucky. And in Brazil, Friday the 13th, but in August, so today, is the worst Friday the 13th that you could possibly have. That is because agosto rhymes with degosto, which is sorrow. And in Asian countries, they actually have, they don't really have a thing with the number 13. However, they have a thing with the number 4. In much of East and Southeast Asia, where tetraphobia is the norm, you'll be hard-pressed to find much of the number 4 anywhere, in public or in private. And that is because in the Chinese language, words for 4 and death are very similar sounding, says Wikipedia. If it's not, that didn't come from me. It came from Wikipedia. And lastly, our last country, we're going to move over onto Egypt. The ancient Egyptians actually found that the number 13 was lucky. And that's because they believed that the 13th stage of life was related to the afterlife. So, at this decline of ancient Egyptian civilization, the number 13 was still associated with the end of earthly life. However, its connotations shifted a bit from hope to death and fear. And then to kind of play on like Friday the 13th superstitions, or like superstitions as a whole. So ancient Egyptians believed that umbrellas were royal and that their shade was sacred. So opening one indoors was considered an insult to the god of the sun. Is there like a weird glare on my glasses? So let's talk superstition. What is a superstition? A superstition is a belief or practice typically resulting from ignorance or pseudoscience that is mistakenly attributed to fate or magic, perceived supernatural influence, or fear of the unknown. It is commonly applied to belief and practice surrounding luck, charms, astrology, fortune-telling, phantoms, and certain paranormal entities, particularly the belief that future events can be foretold by specific unrelated prior events. That being said, 1 in 4 Americans actually say that they're superstitious. And superstition has actually led to studies being done. Psychologists at Kansas State University say that superstition is all about wanting to control your fate. So people often use superstition to try to achieve a specific outcome or to alleviate an anxiety. For an example, athletes. Athletes will do a quirky or a ritualistic thing before a big event in hopes that they get the outcome that they desire. Or if you look at like baseball games are a perfect example. When a team, I want to say when a team is losing, or they're about, I don't know, but at baseball games you'll see people flip their hats inside out in hopes of getting a positive outcome from the game. So in 2010, psychologist Stuart Weiss tested a group of people on various memory tasks. The group of people who were allowed to keep their good luck charms did better on the memory test than the group of people that had their good luck charms taken away. He's even quoted, "It's all about that low-cost confidence booster." Some more research. Some research estimated that as many as 10% of U.S. population has a fear of the number 13. And you're saying, okay, but like, how does that impact the rest of us? According to the Stress Management Center and Phobia Institute in Asheville, North Carolina, more than 80% of high-rise buildings in the United States do not have a 13th floor. And the vast majority of hotels, hospitals, and airports avoid using the number for rooms and gates as well. Here's another phobia. Paraskevicatria. Paraskevicdeca. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Paraskevicdecatriophobia, the fear of Friday the 13th, actually results in close to $800 million of financial losses every year. People avoid getting married. People avoid traveling. People avoid shopping. And in some extreme cases, some people don't even go to work. So, of course, there's going to be a list of famous popular events that happened on Friday the 13th. But to be fair, you could literally pull any date and you will have a list of events. You know, there's only 365 days in a year. And so many years of history, like even before the U.S. was a thing, you know? So it's like there's just so many events that have happened that like every day has like a long list. But people like to blame Friday the 13th for things. So let's go over that list. Let's read down. Okay. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, officers of King Philip the IV is 4 of France arrested hundreds of Knights Templar, a powerful religious and military order formed in the 12th century for the defense of the Holy Land. Imprisoned on charges of various illegal behaviors, but really because the king wanted their financial resources, many Templars were later executed. Some cite the link with the Templars as the origin of Friday the 13th. But, like many legends involving the Templars and their history, the truth remains kind of murky, especially with like history that old. So now let's fast forward to like more current series of events. We'll do a little lightning round. September 1940, Germany bombed Buckingham Palace. March 1964, Kitty Genovese was murdered in Queens, New York. June 1952, Swedish flight DC-3 vanished and was never heard from again. But according to the National Geographic, the Swedish flight disappeared while flying over the Baltic Sea. And for 40 years, the Swedish government stuck to a story that they were just performing training exercises. However, National Geographic reported that in the 90s, it was leaked that the crew members were actually spying on the Soviet Union for NATO, even though Sweden was officially neutral during the Cold War. And then after that information was released, Russia came out and said that a Russian pilot told a Swedish diplomat that he shot the plane down. November 1970, a cyclone killed more than 300,000 people in Bangladesh. October of 1972, very famous story. Did not know anything about it until today. Actually, it rung some bells, but oh my god, hold on. So the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 was headed towards Chile when it crashed in the Andes. But like, pause before I continue my list. Listen. This gets real wild, and like I said, it tickled my brain in a way that I was like, yo, I remember this story. I don't know what did I know this story from. I don't know where I heard it. But rereading everything brought back like memories of me knowing it. But like, it's a real wild story. Okay. Of the 40 to 45 passengers, I say 40 to 45 because I have conflicting reports that I read. Only 16 survived in the sub-zero temperatures. Okay. Even though the rescue team was called off after 10 days, 72 days later after the crash, 2 of the passengers were able to alert authorities that them and I guess 14 other passengers had survived. So they were trapped in the mountains, and so they like led them there. They didn't have a lot of food on the plane. They didn't have a lot of food to eat. This is where it gets real sad. They ran out of rations. So then they resorted. They were reduced. They were left with no other option but to consume the deceased passengers that were on the plane. And I read that like they didn't get sick because it was so cold that it was like basically like frozen / refrigerated. But yeah, it's like real sad, and I was just so like shook. Anyway, back to my list. September 1996, another real sad day. In Las Vegas, Tupac was murdered. January of 2012, so now we're getting a little closer in time. The Costa Concordia cruise ship crashed off the coast of Italy, which killed 30 people. March of 2020, Donald Trump declared a national emergency over the coronavirus pandemic, and it happened on Friday the 13th. So now let's look into the future, because we have that. We have a future event. A future Friday the 13th event that has been documented by NASA. Okay. April of 2029. According to NASA, an asteroid will come within 20,000 miles of the Earth. Asteroid 99942 Apophis is a near-Earth asteroid more than 1,000 feet, over 300 meters, in size that will harmlessly pass close to Earth. When it was discovered in 2004, The asteroid caused a bit of a stir because the initial calculations indicated that there was a small possibility that it was going to hit Earth. Like it was going to cause some damage. Apophis is named for the demon serpent who personified evil and chaos in ancient Egypt mythology. During its 2029 flyby, Apophis will first become visible to the naked eye in the night sky over the southern hemisphere and will look like a speck of light moving from east to west over Australia. It will be mid-morning on the US East Coast when Apophis is above Australia. Apophis will then cross above the Indian Ocean, and continuing west, it will cross the equator over Africa. At its closest approach to Earth, just before 6 p.m. EDT, April 13th of 2029, Apophis will be over the Atlantic Ocean. It will move so fast that it will cross the Atlantic in just an hour. By 7 p.m. EDT, the asteroid will have crossed over the United States. As it passes by Earth, it will get brighter and faster. At one point, it will appear to travel more than the width of the full moon within a minute. And it will get as bright as the stars in the Little Dipper. Those are some big events happening on Friday the 13th. So let's kind of go over a couple things to avoid on Friday the 13th. You know, superstition wise, like don't do these things. These are bad. Before I go over the list though, I am going to take a bite. I've been going over quite a lot and I am quite hungry. I should get a whole bowl of that. Like a poke bowl that they have. They have a whole bunch. This just sounded really good to me. I also wasn't sure how a bowl would like look on camera or how to like pull the bowl out and make it look pretty, but I will look and see because like that's really good, so I can only imagine like what the rest tastes like. That's really good. They also have Kahlua pork that I want to try. You can get a poke bowl that has poke, whether it be tuna or salmon, with Kahlua pork in it. That's probably what I'll get. Get a 2-in-1. I cannot breathe. Do you hear that? It's like a mix of like allergies and smoke. Smoke from California. It's just like I can't breathe. I'm so tired. Hello. Girl! Like I mentioned, in the US, 13 is an unlucky number. So avoid the number 13. Don't go on the 13th floor. Don't, spend $13. You know, avoid number 13. Just like sleep throughout the day. Don't go anywhere, don't do anything. Just like don't move. That's probably the best. That's honestly, fuck my list. That's the best thing to do. Don't do anything. Just sleep. Because then you can't accidentally do something unlucky. Like don't get a haircut. The superstition says getting a haircut on a Friday the 13th will result in a death in your family. But also don't brush your hair. Because if a bird uses your fallen locks to build a nest, you will go bald. A myth that dates back to the medieval age states, if you walk under a ladder, it will lead to your own hanging. Also, don't give birth today. Don't do that. That's bad. Again, just try to sleep. So an old wives' tale says that if you give birth on Friday the 13th, that your kid will be unlucky for its entire life. So just tell the baby to come back tomorrow. Be like, no, you cannot come out today, come out tomorrow. Okay? Knocking over salt is already like a superstitious thing that gives you bad luck, but especially on Friday the 13th. All those things that they say not to do, all the superstitious things, all the bad luck things, it's like times 20 on Friday the 13th. So just like, don't do that. Like I said, just sleep. Honestly, your best bet is sleeping. Just sleep. Don't wake up until tomorrow. Been doing a lot of talking and not a lot of eating. Even though I'm so hungry. Oh, this is a real big bite. That is so good. Give me a potato salad any day of the week. You know what's really good? Persian potato salad. So good. Delicious. It has chicken in it. Delicious. And like pickles and mustard, I think. Or like you make it with a thing. I don't know. It's just so good. Was that yellow thing like a daikon radish? Is that what that was? Because that was really good. Pickled veg is really good. Not like dill pickle, right? Like, but like it's like a almost like a quick pickle where you throw like sugar and vinegar and salt and water. Quick pickle. That's what it tastes like. Whenever HelloFresh tells me to do a quick pickle, this is what it tastes like. It's so good. Let me take a couple more bites of my donuts. All biting that donut did was make me more hungry. I've eaten like no food. It's easier to cut my katsu down below. It is sweet though. Like the sauce that they put on it is sweet. So if you're not into that, like sweet mixed with your savory foods, then I would suggest to not get that. But if you don't mind, it's good. Big difference between filming like during the day, filming at night, minus it being dark out. The peacock isn't out. The peacock flies across the street to the apartments, jumps up into a tree and goes to sleep. So he's not squawking. Okay. So let's say you've done some of the unlucky things that I told you not to do. Here are a couple of things that you could do to like undo the bad luck or to keep you protected on this evil day. There are 2 remedies to if you walk under a ladder. First being saying bread and butter while you walk underneath it. Well, Steffi, I already walked underneath it. Now what do I do? You gotta cross your fingers until you see a dog. I don't make the rules. Those are the rules. You gotta see a dog you gotta hold your fingers. Gotta see a dog. And then that lifts the bad luck from walking underneath the ladder. Salt. I mentioned salt earlier. You knock over salt, you're going to take a little pinch and you're going to throw it over your shoulder. And that's supposed to make the bad luck go away. You're throwing out the bad luck. Like those grains, those are the bad luck. When you speak of your own good fortune, you're supposed to knock on wood. Knocking on wood is a tradition that stems from ancient pagan culture's belief that spirits and gods reside in trees. And there are also good luck foods. Ring-shaped foods like donuts, bagels, bundt cakes, even not just ring foods, but like regular cakes that are circular, like round cake, not square cakes, but round cakes. They are symbolic of coming full circle in some cultures. So they are most commonly eaten at New Year's, like come full circle, end of the year, time to start a new year. Yay. In many Asian countries, long uncut noodles symbolize longevity, prosperity, and good luck. And the superstitions around garlic and good luck mostly center on carrying a clove in your pocket. The smell wards off evil spirits and vampires. In Scandinavian countries, the cook hides a whole almond in the rice pudding, and the person who gets the almond in their bowl of rice pudding is promised a year of good luck. And a handful of preliminary studies show that turmeric has potential health benefits, but it is also said to ward off any bad omens that come your way. And that, my friends, concludes today's video. yeah. Happy Friday the 13th. Freaking stay safe. Eat some donuts. And I will see you same time next week. Hopefully.
Look behind you. I said, look behind you.